Former FBI special agent Robert Chacon joins me now. Robert, great to have you with us. The president is saying that the Nunes memo vindicates Trump. Would you agree?
No, I don't think there's anything kind of to be vindicated for. I don't think there's anybody, that's facing charges yet. He's almost like defending himself against, a case that doesn't exist yet. I mean, obviously everybody's anticipating him facing some kind of, or possibly facing some kind of collusion case or obstruction of justice case. But I don't think there's anything in this memo that we haven't seen before, that hasn't been argued before, that he hasn't been talking about before. All of the things that are in there are stuff that Trump himself has commented on in the past. I don't think anything new vindicates him or doesn't vindicate him.
So do you believe that this was designed to clarify anything here, or actually to muddy the waters even more?
No, I was an attorney before the FBI, and this actually seems to me like it's a motion to suppress evidence that you would normally find once a defendant is in court and facing evidence of a wiretap, and they try to suppress the evidence that comes out of the wiretap. That's the way the memo reads to me. It reads to me like a motion to suppress any evidence. Of course, it's all a little premature to do that because no one's facing charges based on evidence that's been brought by the FISA intercept. So it's a little premature to be challenging the results of the FISA when we really don't know what the evidence is and what charges have been brought, based on it, or are going to be brought based on it. So it's very, very premature to be talking like, the evidence from the FISA should be. And I did hear a lot of the term "the fruits of the poisonous tree" last week. That's a legal term that's going to be argued by a defendant that's facing evidence that comes out of that FISA, and it's just way too early to be talking like that.
Now, some are saying that the Nunes document shows that the FBI had cause to suspect the Russia links based on that intel from Australia in June, which preceded the Steele dossier. But what actually goes into obtaining these FISA documents? How much evidence is actually needed?
Well, it's a pretty high bar. It is any time the government is going to intercept your communications. It's a higher bar because what the court wants to do is the court wants to see that you've done other investigative steps short of this very intrusive method, which is to listen on somebody's phone calls or electronic communications. It's very intrusive to your privacy. So before you go to that step, you have to show as part of your application that you've tried other investigative means. So it is a pretty high bar. You have to show in the case of a FISA, you have to show that the person is presumably acting as an agent of a foreign power, and through that activity is committing a crime, a federal crime prohibited by U.S. law. So it's a pretty high bar to set. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So, it's probable cause. So it's not enough proof that you need to convict somebody, but it's enough to get you the right to use this intrusive method of listening in and intercepting communications, then to build a further case.
Right. Now, you can see, I suppose, as evidence continues to emerge and as the story continues to unfold, that it was a pretty dirty campaign, and just how dirty continues to be exposed. Is the FBI normally so involved and so entrenched in an election campaign?
No, and in fact, we try never to do that, to not to get there. The FBI takes great pains not to be involved in things like this. So you see that the genesis of this, started, with Carter Page being surveilled back in 2013, and some of the statements that he made. And so there was some focus on him way before this campaign, and through his activities for the campaign, possibly, and some others. It just kind of caught fire again. So this is not something that just came up during the Trump campaign. This was something that they had been looking at prior. They let it kind of lapse because maybe they didn't have enough information or evidence. So, but when he came into the spotlight again and became active again, and then was traveling to Russia, it kind of caught fire again and caught somebody's interest. Now, it wasn't until October of 2016 that they went and got the FISA. So, those things run for 30 days. So it wasn't ever going to be things that came out before the election. This was all going to happen after the election anyway. So I think the Bureau looked at it as wasn't going to be impactful on the election, even though some people connected to the campaign might be drawn into the investigation later on. But when you get the FISA in October of 2016, there's no way that evidence is ever going to come to light prior to the election.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that insight, joining us from Los Angeles there. We're going out for for a break here on Perspectives. But